Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I want to talk about how Social Security affects government workers. So my name is Matt and I worked for the Social Security for many years, so I was both a federal employee and I know Social Security really well. And in my particular area where I live, we have a lot of federal government workers. So I saw my fair share of misunderstandings and mistakes that government workers made. So I want to do this video here to help you avoid some of those mistakes and to help you understand, if you're a federal worker, just some things that you need to know so that you don't mess up. Okay, the first thing is that you don't qualify for a Medicare special enrollment period as a government worker based on your retirement government insurance. Okay, so the vast majority of government workers will retire from their government position before age 65. Most Americans probably do that as well, but especially government workers, because you only need 30 years to be vested with the government, and you can retire and claim that government pension. You can retire and claim your government pension. Now, there are two types of government retirement programs. There's the civil service, the CSRS program, and then there's the FERS program, FERS. If you're watching this, you are most likely under the FERS program. There are a few remaining stragglers out there under the civil service program. Those are people who started before 1984, started working for the government. You're probably under the FERS program. In either case, you can retire after you hit your government full retirement age, and then you can claim your government pension until you get to 62, until you get to Social Security age. Okay, so there's a lot going on there. But my point here on the first thing is that a lot of government workers, when they turn 65, they're retired from the government, they have retirement government insurance. And they think, I don't need Medicare Part B, so because I have my federal insurance, so I'm good, I'm okay. Now they're right, they don't need to sign up for Medicare. So what'll happen when you turn 65 is you'll automatically be signed up for Medicare Parts A and B. That'll be automatic if you're already on your Social Security benefit. So let's assume you've retired from the government, you took your Social Security at 62, which is what the vast majority of government workers do, and then at 65 you decide you don't want Medicare. Well, you'll automatically be signed up for A and B, but then you'll get a thing in the mail that says, if you don't want Part B, sign this card and return it. So a lot of government workers do that, and they don't ask Social Security questions about it before they do it. It's fine to turn down the Part B. You do not need Part B ever, okay? You don't ever have to sign up for Part B. So a lot of government workers just stick with their federal government insurance until they die, and that's fine. But some think, I don't need Part B now, but I might want it later on, 10 years down the road when, I'm in worse shape health-wise. In that case, you don't get the special enrollment period for Medicare Part B, nor do you get the ability to sign up without a penalty. So for every 10 years, for every year that you wait, for every 12 months that you wait to sign up for Part B, your premium is going to go up an extra 10% from what the base rate is. So if you wait 10 years to sign up, it'll be 100% higher. It'll be twice as much as the regular base rate. So that's something that I saw a fair amount. Government workers would come back when they were 75-ish and say, okay, I want Part B now. I've had my government insurance the whole time, so I want to sign up for Part B. And say, no, that's not good enough, because you have to be covered under an insurance plan, yes, but you also have to be actively working for that company in order to qualify for that Medicare special enrollment period and avoid the penalty. So just make sure you keep that in mind. You're not going to qualify for a special enrollment period if you are on retirement government insurance. Now let's say you're one of the few people who are working beyond 65 for the government. That does happen. That does happen sometimes. So let's say you're one of those people. Then yes, you would qualify for a Medicare special enrollment period because you're actively working and you're covered under your employer's health insurance. So you could hold off on Part B until you retire and then sign up at that point if you want. Okay, number 2, you may be wept. No, not whipped. You may be wept. This is a term with Social Security. It is WEP. It stands for Windfall Elimination Provision. It's a strange name. What it means is that your Social Security will be reduced if you are under that old civil service plan or were partially under that old civil service plan. And they call that windfall elimination provision. It has to do with what the purpose of Social Security is, which is to be a safety net. It's not a straight retirement program. It is more of a safety net, and so they actually engineer it to be a little more favorable towards people on the lower end of the earning spectrum. And what they're saying is, hey, if you work for the government and you get a retirement from the government, then you look like you were a poor person to Social Security because you didn't pay into Social Security. Now we're talking about the old civil service program here. You didn't pay into Social Security if you were under that program, so Social Security thinks you're one of these people in poverty, but you're actually not. You get a government, and you get a whole nother government pension over on this side. So what they say is, we're not going to give you the favorable computation for your Social Security benefits. Therefore, it'll be slashed from what you think it might be. So let me back up just a little bit. Some government workers, they're under the civil service retirement program. That means you started working before 1984. You were under the old program. Some of you still have your Social Security credits either from work that you did before the federal government, or maybe part-time work that you did while you were working with the federal government, or maybe you retired from the government and then you went and got your Social Security credits in the private industry. If that's the case, you're going to be reduced. Your Social Security benefit's already going to be low because you didn't pay all that much into it, but then it's going to get cut in half or more because of your government pension. Some federal workers start out under the Civil Service Retirement Program, and then you stop working with the government, do something else for a while, and then you go back with the government. And at that point, if they rehired you after 1984, then that part of your pension is covered under FERS, the new retirement program. So that means you have some work under the old and some work under the new. They call you a civil service offset employee, which essentially means you kind of get offset on both your federal retirement and your Social Security. It's not really a double whammy. It tends to even out, but you get offset a little bit on both the federal and the Social Security. Your Social Security, if you are one of those employees, your Social Security benefit, it's going to be really difficult to get an accurate estimate of your Social Security benefits before you retire. It just will. A lot of times, the Social Security Administration has to see your retirement paperwork from the government so they can figure out how much of your government pension is based on the old program and how much of it is based on the new program. So those were some of the trickier cases that I had to handle, and people would want an exact estimate. I'd say I can't give it to you because I have to see that paperwork. Every month under the old program is going to affect the number a little bit. So again, they refer to that as being WEPT. So Windfall Elimination Provision is the name of the law. They have a info sheet on socialsecurity.gov that tells you all about it. But whenever WEP applies to you, it lowers your Social Security benefit, and they say that you're WEPT. Okay, so again, if you're under the old program, you might be WEPT. Okay, number 3 thing for federal workers to know is that your benefit is usually a good Social Security benefit. That's because most federal workers work for the government for a long time and have very steady wages with the government. Social Security, that bodes well for a Social Security benefit because Social Security averages your highest 35 years of earnings. So a lot of times federal workers are in a really good spot with Social Security. And I know it's a common question for people out there to ask what the average monthly Social Security benefit is, and I think it's because they're kind of wondering, was I higher or lower than average? I think the average monthly benefit is about $1,200 or $1,300 a month. Federal workers, again, typically pretty good because they usually have 35 years of consistent, pretty good earnings, which is better than somebody who goes kind of living, maybe starting their own business and just making nothing, and then it kind of blows up. Your Social Security benefit is better if it's more consistent over time. Okay, the next thing, number 4, is something that I alluded to earlier, and that is just that most federal workers take their benefit at age 62. It's extremely common because typically federal workers will get their 30 years in before they turn 62. So a lot of federal workers are retiring in their 50s. And when you do that, again, under the new program FERS, the FERS program, you will receive a Social Security supplement. No, sorry, it's called a FERS supplement, and it's essentially meant to help you get by from the time you retire at, say, age 57 to the time you're eligible for Social Security, which is 62. So if you retire at 57, there's like a 5-year gap until you can claim Social Security. Well, the FERS program actually pays you a supplement to help you get there, which I think is amazing, actually. And so they're going to increase your FERS retirement payment until you get to 62. Well, of course, what happens when you turn 62? The supplement goes away. So at 62, you don't have to take your Social Security at that point. You could wait for it to rise, until a later date. But a lot of government workers, they're used to living on that money. So when the FERS supplement goes away, they file for their Social Security at age 62, and that's it. So extremely common for federal workers to take their benefit early at age 62. Now, if you're close to age 62 right now, your full retirement age is probably age 67. And if you take it at age 62, your benefit will be cut 25% off of the full retirement amount. Yes, it should be 30%. So it used to be 25%, and now it's gone. Since full retirement age went up to 67, you're going to be taking a little bit bigger cut if you take it at 62. So a 30% reduction on your full retirement benefit if you take it at 62. But most people do it. It's fine. They figure it's better than waiting the 5 years to get the full benefit amount. So extremely common for federal workers to do that. Okay, I hope this helped you out as a federal worker. Me, as a former federal worker, and again, I worked with a lot of federal retirees because I live near an Air Force base. And so federal workers, something that, are close to my heart. I don't think you get enough thanks for what you do. You are civil servants as well. You are serving the American public, and I appreciate all that you do. I hope this helped you out. Thank you. We'll see you next time.